All right, let's get right into it. Good morning, guys. How you doing today?
Doing
How's
good.
everyone doing? How's everyone doing today? How are you doing? Cheyenne, how
Doing
you doing? Mr. William, how is everyone doing this morning? You guys doing great?
very good.
Yes.
And this is my first time having having two people on the interview on the Zoom. So I think I'm progressing. I'm improving. So I'm happy. I'm happy about that. It's gonna be an awesome conversation. Now, for those of you who do not know, Miss Cheyenne and Mr. William are from HireKC, which is an online platform that helps students, professionals get internships and jobs. I've gotten tons of emails from Cheyenne all the time telling me, yo, go and apply for this. And so I'm happy to have you guys here today, seeing the people who are working behind the scenes to make all this happen. And now during this pandemic, jobs has been challenging to actually find a job, but I just wanted to invite you guys here today just to give us insights on, what you guys are planning for people and how they can get jobs and internships, even though a lot of things are going on. Now, before we go right into it, I want to, can you guys introduce yourself? Just give a little bit of bio so we can know who we have here today. Cheyenne, you can go first, and then Mr. William can go.
Awesome. Okay. So my name is Cheyenne Squire. I am the Student and School Engagement Coordinator for the Kansas City Social Innovation Center. My background is in teaching literacy at the elementary level. I did that for a couple of years. I've done a lot of community work, and through an internship that I had with HireKC and just continuing to stay connected with them, I ended up, being hired on staff, and so I've served in assistant and coordinating type of roles. And so, yeah, really excited to be here and share sort of what we've been working on and what we're planning to offer to students the rest of this year. So
Awesome. And by the way, I feel like your background, you planned it. You have your leaves, everything, all looking green, all looking fresh. I like that. I'm on here just with a blank background, but you got all set up and everything. I like that. So, Mr. William, let us know, who is Mr. William? Give us a little bio about yourself.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is William Dowdell. I am the Director of Programming at the KC Social Innovation Center. Migrated to this area about 12 years ago. Came to KU. It was an international studies and Russian major. And after finishing up, went working not throughout the world, but I specialized in working in authoritarian countries. And so did a lot of community organizing and civic building in Southeast Asia and Central and Eastern Europe. And then sort of turned my lens and my focus to this area, moved from Lawrence, came here, and began to work in youth development. I did a college access program over at Kaufman Scholars and a mentorship program for young men over at the Kaufman Foundation. I went into the classroom for 4 years, and I've worked in youth violence and found my way to the KC Social Innovation Center just over 2 years ago. And really began working to expand our internship platform and then other platforms which really help young people grow professionally.
Now, that's awesome. Let's backtrack a little bit for HireKC, because I joined HireKC, I think it was earlier this year, or sometime this year, because I was looking for internships. How long has HireKC been working, and what has been the vision for HireKC?
Yeah, so we've been around for 4 years. We're running into our 4th year. And we came out, we were the brainchild of former Mayor Sly James, who really wanted to do something a little more than just a summer job. No shade on the summer job. We think summer jobs are great, but he really envisioned something that would align young people up with professional opportunities after they finish school, and then also to get them to come back and stay in this area. And then most importantly, to bring a level of equity and diversity to a professional workforce, which had traditionally underutilized communities throughout the city. So we've sort of continued on with that mission and really pushed on just how we even look at equity, how we even look at fairness. And we've been really, working hard to find other underutilized communities, pockets of them throughout our region, not just the city, and not only bring opportunity to young people, but support our young people so they can take part in those opportunities. But we also look at it as that we're bringing something to employers, right? We're bringing them a workforce that, traditionally they haven't really engaged with, and we think that that's going to add to the richness of what they do.
Now, what is the demographic for HireKC? How many people have HireKC been able to give jobs and internships for as long as it's been? And what are the when it comes to minorities and being able to have equality, what is that impact? What is that number like?
Right. So traditionally, excluding this year, because this year is sort of a hybrid year, dealing with the current crisis, we've been around 250 opportunities for young people. And those are going to be either internships or directly connecting young people to seasonal jobs. We've been around, our breakdown usually falls around 60% or so African American, and about 20% or so Latinx, and 20% are going to be white or classified as other. So, and and I think that even with that number, we wanted to take it even deeper. Again, for your viewers out there who go to Lincoln, when we came on, traditionally, 91% of our high school students were coming from Lincoln. And now, when we came on, we said, that's not equity. Yes, you may have Black and brown young people, but we need to also go and knock on those doors to those schools that people are saying that these kids can't make it, or they're too much trouble, or, they're not going to be ready. And so we've seen in a short amount of time, our portfolio expand into schools which traditionally haven't taken part, as much in internships.
So what do you do to knock on those doors? How do you go to those areas where, usually would not get opportunities to be on LinkedIn or to be able to get job opportunities? How do you do that? How do you get on the ground to make that happen?
I think it's going to be twofold, and I want to, I'll throw it out, and then I'm going to ask Cheyenne to chime in, even though this is a new a position for her because she's shifting over. But early on, we recognized that we only had 8% Latinx the year I started. And so our first strategy was to bring leaders in the Latinx community and really be transparent, set aggressive goals. And one of our colleagues, Kaylee Peel, she and I ran this meeting, and we said, if we don't get that number up, then as a community, you should be demanding us to lose our positions. And so we were trying radical transparency. That's the first thing. The other thing that has been, at least I will say, my philosophy, but also strategy, is that I think it's important to include the family and the community these young people come from. So all too often we have organizations with good intentions, but go in almost pre-wired to feel as though these communities or these families are not going to take enough interest in their young people to take part in of this sort of engagement with them. And so that's sort of been my philosophy, that we have to plug into communities. You have to ask permission. You have to ask a village, can you educate their child? Not just pull them away and say, I know what's best for you. And I think, and then another strategy, well, on that same line, we did a project, Cheyenne and I called the Project Commons, where we sort of put this into action and said, we're going to aggressively pursue those schools and those young people who traditionally are not, and build a relationship with their families. Okay. And so I just, I'm not doing the interviewing, but I wanted to see if Cheyenne would comment on that project.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything William said. There's just a certain level of intentionality and really making sure that we're looping in those adults that are already surrounding, the students and the communities that we are wanting to target and reach that maybe are on LinkedIn or don't have that kind of access, or maybe support that some other students may have in other areas. I would say as well, when William was talking about how we sort of connected with community leaders, that's not just limited to professionals in the workplace in those communities. A lot of times it came through college students who were further along in their education. However, they had invested a lot of time and resource into their community. For example, even thinking about what William was speaking on with the Project Commons, a big way that we reached the Latinx community was through Belinda Martinez. She's a college student at UMKC. And she was sort of interning with us over the summer, but she helped us so much in, with the language barrier and also with sort of reaching those families that, without her, we may not have been able to connect with on such a deep level, So someone who was a student and an intern, and we, leveraged their presence within the community and their work and their education to the people that they knew and that trusted them, So that was just an example of sort of how we address that.
You guys, apart from, do you guys have any events? I know that the COVID-19 pandemic has shifted a lot of things. Are there any events you guys are hosting virtually or planning to host in the future?
So I can. I would say that we did have a hiring fair. We do have a hiring fair that we do every year, and that's sort of where we invite all of our students that are in our platforms to come and meet and converse with all the different employers on our platform where they can meet us. And it's sort of usually several months before the summer HireKC season. Because of the pandemic, we were not able to host it this year. We had to cancel it, but that is one of our major events that we do. We also do additional projects on the side. I know this past year, a really special project that we did was called Draw Your Future with Agilities. And that was us going into classrooms and working with students to sort of identify what their strengths and their skill sets were, design a map for their future, and a pathway for themselves, identify bold steps they could take to do that, and then connecting them with opportunities. And so we were going out and doing that with several hundred students over the past several months. So we were having that face-to-face connection with them, either us on the team or someone that we had trained.
Yeah, and I think coming up, we are excited. We are beginning to build and almost ready to roll out our plans for a youth-centered conference on education. And it's just really appropriate. We're asking young people to rethink education. And of course, in light of dealing with the coronavirus, it's just really appropriate. One of the things that we found is that we're on, probably hundreds of Zoom calls now. We work in the space of, youth development, youth workforce, and youth education. But I noticed that there were no young people on the calls, right? And so we, for us, youth voice, student voice is really important. And so we're excited that that's going to be a pretty significant event that we are really putting our resources behind, because that means that young people are going to be a part of the rebuild.
Let's move to the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic and the effects of it. How has that changed what you guys do, and what does work look like at HireKC now?
One big thing was we wanted to answer this need that young people had for some sort of support and content during the summer. Because, early on in our conversations in the office, we recognized that young people, by the time they go back to school, especially high school students, there's going to be about 6 months, right, where they're going to, not be fully engaged, and some just totally disconnected. So we thought, how can we continue to support them by pushing out content? So what we developed was this system of experiences where young people are coming, sort of funneling in through HireKC, and we're offering them what we call the Work Ready Institute. And the Work Ready Institute, I'll ask Cheyenne to sort of speak on that, but the Work Ready Institute is this funnel which is really giving young people these fundamental work ready skills for coming on and starting an internship.
Okay.
And then the second phase was to offer young people this sort of module experience where, based off of their interest, they could select content that we would offer in the form of two-way webinars.
Okay.
And by young people taking these different webinars or having these different experiences, they could also earn money over the summer. And then finally, the last section is that not only will kids come in and get those early skills and then have those experiences, but then towards the tail end, they'll select either a project or a program. And those projects and programs will align them with client-connected projects where we're teaming them up with region and city professionals who are already working out in the workforce. So they're getting those, having that real world learning experience and getting, what people are calling those market value assets.
So my question would be this: how can students get access to this opportunities? How can they, go on the platform and sign up or, be able to apply? What are the moves they need to take right now?
We have a link to our accelerator. Our accelerator is basically our online platform that is hosting all of our experiences, internships, project opportunities, and such. As we were saying sort of, in the beginning, we are in the process of building these experiences out. And as soon as we have completed that, which should be in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be posting those activities and experiences into the accelerator platform. So the link for students to be able to do that is gohirekc.org/transio. I'm going to put it in the chat. Or hirekc.org/students, that works as well. And then this is sort of where students will be able to go on. They can create a profile. They can upload their resume, all of that. That's going to exist on, our platform. We will post those experiences or projects that they can participate in. Then they'll apply, and we'll sort of match them that way.
I want to ask you guys this too. So, with I think it's Twitter that said that all the employees can work from home. What do you guys think is the impact of this COVID-19 pandemic when it comes to virtual working or virtual learning? What do you think is going to be the big shift for us?
So, there are a few things that really worry me, building human relationships and how important that is. And we're coming together and working in a space. I know that as we begin to build what the Work Ready Institute looks like, we're asking the question to young people: what will the workforce look like in the future? Not dictating it, because it's going to be their workforce. But at the same time, we want to prepare them for some of the obstacles. And then another big thing, and I think that this really, it begins to prioritize what we need. And we desperately need to make sure that all Kansas Cityans or all people in the Kansas City region have broadband access, right? Because it is going to be the equalizer. And right now, we recognize that, so many actually don't. One statistic in 2014 said 70% of young people who live in quote unquote at-risk communities don't have access to broadband. They may have access to the internet, but they don't have access to broadband. And so I think it's really demonstrated how we need to properly prepare for future disruptions. Because my fear is when kids are going to these, I'll say it, having these inferior experiences at school, or they don't have that connectivity, this can make the gap grow larger.
What is something you guys want to tell students out there today who are being discouraged because of the pandemic, and what are some things you want to offer to them during this time?
So, I would say, we want to take these resources that we have and pour them back into young people in the community. We definitely want to send a message that, the future is bright. And sometimes that we can't see it, but the future is bright, and the future is theirs. And I'm trying to do, I think our entire team is trying to do our part to shine that light on that pathway, to illuminate that pathway to that life that we know young people want and deserve. And then the other message definitely is that, and I've said this before, for those, and I was this young person. I used to look at buildings when I would go downtown, and I would think, what do they do in that building? What is that person? What is it like? My message is those buildings desperately they're waiting for you. They need you. And we need you. So, we would encourage everyone to, if not our platform, there are other great platforms out there like Brand Lab, where they're connecting young people to internships in marketing, and HireKC, where they're connecting young people to internships, on the entrepreneurial side. Take advantage of these resources, and reach out to us if we can help in any way.
Awesome. What do you want to say to them, Cheyenne?
For me, I'm gonna say, to all the young people out there, take your rest. Take this time to take your rest, because just from, like I said, the past several hundred students that we've been working with over these past few months, figuring out, what are students dealing with right now, what's going well, what's not going well. Almost unanimously, every single student that I talked to said that they are dealing with stress, so much stress, trying to figure out who they're going to be in the future, trying to figure out how to manage all these different relationships and society's expectations on them. And so my word for the young people is take your rest. This is a time for you to rejuvenate, restore, learn about something that you want to learn about, and do it from a place of rest, because you're going to be that much stronger when things return back to normal and these opportunities do become available. And I would just I know a lot of people, even at our professional level, are feeling sort of guilty about that, of well, I'm not doing anything. Well, it's okay. You're going to be doing things for the rest of your life. When you have time, just take your rest, spend time with your family, and discover more about yourself, and just sort of, think about, those things that you want to do and be, and just take that time. So
that's awesome. Speaking of that, I think we should host an event sometime in the future talking about that. That's a good topic, Mr. William. Let's put that down somewhere. We should have an event talking about what you just said. That's some good topic. She just preached right there. We should plan that sometime. That's awesome. Well, man, I just want to say this. Thank you guys for coming here today. I really appreciate you guys sharing this information, because I think it's very valuable to students who are, especially the graduates who just graduated, but all the internship fairs and all the opportunities that they thought they had got canceled because of the pandemic. And having them know that they can go to HireKC and get new opportunities is really awesome. That you guys keep working and keep making things happen. So I'm grateful to have you guys here today. And I really hope that once this is all cleared and done, we can get to work together. And also I can get to find an internship as well. Just on the side note, But thank you, Cheyenne, for coming. Thank you, Mr. William, for coming on the FiredUp KC show. This has been awesome. And again, can you guys give us one more time how they can connect with you guys or HireKC?
Yep, HireKC.org/student. Go to HireKC.org/students, and you'll see how to sign up for our accelerator platform, where we'll connect you with opportunities as soon as they become available.
Awesome.
And our information is on our website, so we encourage people to contact us directly. I can be contacted at william@kcsocialinnovation.org, and would love to answer any questions and and give as much encouragement as needed.
Yeah, go ahead.
On Instagram @_HireKC. That's where we push out all of our sort of updates on what's going on, and we're pretty active on there. Plus, you want to be on that incentivizing platform. Trust me.
Awesome. Now, thank you guys again for coming here today. I really appreciate you guys. This was an awesome presentation, and hope to see you guys on the other side of things. And yeah, thank you. Stay safe, stay healthy, keep doing the good work, keep hiring people in KC, and let's push KC to the next level.
All right, thank you.